Hi, CoolMan229 here. This video is what I hope to be the first in a series of videos where I take a suggested topic and I just talk about it and give my perspective. So, today's topic, the first topic that I got, was submitted by Tumblr user its-an-anagram-inside-an-acronym. So, thank you for providing the first topic to talk about. Their topic was, do you think Janey from Borderlands could have had better development as a character, or is her core concept dead on arrival? It's actually a really good question. The short answer is no, her core concept wasn't dead on arrival. In fact, it was actually a really cool idea. The problem with Janey is mainly the problem with the pre-sequel in general, is that it's horribly written. And Janey was pretty clearly meant to be the mascot of the game. A character you're supposed to look at and you'd be like, yeah, she's the main side character of the pre-sequel. She's what you're supposed to think about when you think of Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Given the bad writing, it ended up being incredibly forced, and everything about her character was forced. I mean, anyone who knows me or has seen me post about her on Tumblr knows that I hate Janey. She's a horrible character. She's a horribly written character. But the idea of her isn't bad. It's basically a space mechanic, and that's cool. Like Kaylee in Firefly. I mean, Janey could have been a really fantastic character. She got screwed over because they tried to focus on sexuality over her actual character. Now, the main problems with Janey comes with the fact that her character, unlike Sir Hammerlock, another canonically gay character from Borderlands, isn't allowed to have a character too far outside of her being a lesbian, which was really disappointing. One of the reasons why Sir Hammerlock is so great and why Hammerlock is popular is because he's a fun character. Honestly, I played through Borderlands 2, played through all the DLCs, and did not know he was gay at all until I read something that was talking about it outside of the, it was a developer interview or something. I don't really remember. And why was that? That's because they wrote a character who is gay instead of writing a character as gay. Janey was gay. She talked about being gay. She would hit on women while you were playing. She stalked Moxie. Like, everything about her character revolved around her being gay. They honestly mostly ignored or downplayed the fact that she was a mechanic. I mean, that's what her role was, but it really felt like the writers didn't care about that as much as her sexuality, which is a really bad problem. And this is what prevented her from having any kind of development or any kind of real character at all. Because when you really think, I mean, okay, before I got into the pre-sequel, before I started playing, I was excited. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play the pre-sequel of Borderlands 2. Oh yeah. And then I started playing, and before I'd gone through some of the Tumblr tags, and I heard so much good stuff about Janey Springs, and it was like she was always had all these fun stuff, and she was involved in all these headcanons, like. And I was sitting there like, Janey must be a really popular character, so she's probably like Mad Moxie or Tiny Tina. One of those side characters that just became really popular because everyone loved her. And then I played the game, and apart from generally being disappointed and thinking, this isn't that great, I got to Janey, and I thought there, I'm like, she's kind of boring. And I'm like, okay, maybe she does something later. I mean, a lot of characters don't make as much of an impression at first, and then they do something that just makes everyone love them, like Lynn in Book 1 of Legend of Korra, They liked Lynn and then she made that sacrifice. She sacrificed herself to save Tenzin and the Air Babies and stuff, and you're just like, and everyone's like, oh, Lynn, I love you. So I'm like, okay, I mean, maybe something will come up, and I'll realize why they love her so much. And I was playing as Athena, fortunately, and I was playing, and then Janey talked about being gay, and I sat there and I'm like, oh, this is why she's popular. And that's a big fault of Tumblr, that they basically take, if a character is gay, they suddenly love them, no matter what. Deep down, there is a good character for Janey. If you put her in the hands of a competent writer, even keeping the base of her character is a lesbian, a mechanic on Elpis, runs a business in Concordia. You kept all that the same. You put her in the hands of a competent writer, and she will be a good character. I mean, you can say that in almost every character, in the hands of a good writer. But the problem is, like, you look at Janey, and you're like, I want to like her. I want to like her. But the Anthony Birch is all for writing that other idiot who co-wrote the pre-sequel. It's like, they didn't care to give her enough attention. They didn't give her hobbies. They didn't make her a character that was... They didn't make her a standalone character. Her entire character rested on her being gay. The only bit of backstory we have for her involves her dead ex-girlfriend, her dead girlfriend. It's like... I mean, when you talk to Hammerlock, there's one mission where he mentions an ex-boyfriend. It's actually something, honestly, I didn't even catch the reference of him being as ex-boyfriend at first. He was that guy who had the stalker, and I won't get into the actual mission because it can get a little creepy, but, you know, that's only one mission out of a number of them from Hammerlock, and then that's not even including the Big Game Hunt DLC, when he's the star of that one. Most all of his missions revolve around, honestly, working for his almanac. And he talks about his almanac all the time, and it's something he's been working on all this time. But with Janey, it's like, whenever you do a mission for her, it almost feels like first of all, she's annoying. So that doesn't really help. And then you sit here and you're like, and then she starts, and all of a sudden something will come up eventually, talk about how she was gay. Like, that one mission where you go and rescue that one chick. And, you know, you rescue, and it's one of those stupid, boring, typical defend this position missions that the pre-sequel seems to love. And then at the end, all of a sudden, Janey pops in like, hey, can I have your number? And this chick's like, oh, sure. And Janey's like, I got her number. And it's like, okay, well, why? And then when Torg tries to flirt with her, which, why the hell would Torg flirt with her? We know his backstory. His grandmother said that she slapped sense into him after he became a womanizer. He doesn't do that anymore. He respects women. Why would he try to flirt? But then that, of course, leads to Janey going, oh, I'm not into dates, I'm a lesbian. And him going, blah, friend zone. You guys dragged poor Torg into this. Poor Torg. And, and that's the problem. Instead of giving us reasons to like Janey, they tried to give us reasons to know why she's gay. Honestly, if they just made her a space mechanic, worked in Concordia, said occasionally a funny thing, sent you out on a quest, she wouldn't be that bad. She really wouldn't. As long as they didn't truly hyper-focus on her sexuality, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I don't care what her sexuality is. I just care if she's an enjoyable character. And she wasn't. We can all blame Birch. Anthony Birch. Just blame it all on him. Because he's a douchebag. But talking about developing her better. See, one of the biggest problems with Janey is that, aside from her sexuality in general being, put on display and in your face, the character itself is put in your face a lot. A lot of times, it feels like the writers really wanted to bring Janey in, even when it didn't make any sense. When you go and find the AI, you need the AI for Jack's robot army, and Jack's like, oh yeah, Janey, she's the girl for the job. And then you get to Janey, she's like, well, I have no idea about any of this, but I know someone. And then she sends us to Pickle. And it's like, okay, well, what's the point? From a narrative perspective, what's the point of sending you to Janey if all she's going to do is send you off to do missions for freaking Pickle? I mean, with Tiny Tina, story-wise, in terms of the main plot of Borderlands 2, she only appeared once. And that's when you first meet her, and then you bomb the train and then go fight Wilhelm. Other than that, it's just side missions from her. I mean, with Hammerlock, and another thing that I need to talk about, relevant to her being shoved in your face a lot, they really, really did a lot to put her in the game as much as possible. when you really, it's actually something that kind of annoyed me about Janey is, of course, how much you're forced to talk to her. But something I realized, though, she takes the role of 4 characters from Borderlands 2. 4 characters. Now, when Jack sends you down there to Elpis and he launches you in the pod, or the container, and then you first meet Janey, she takes the role of Claptrap, as the first person robot thing that you meet. And that sees you after you're, launched. Because in the first game in the Borderlands 2, you crashed from the train explosion. And in Borderlands, the pre-sequel, you crashed from the container. After that, she takes the role of Hammerlock, who you essentially rescue from her. You save them, and they're the first, real human that you start taking side missions from, where you had to rescue Hammerlock from all those bandits. You have to help Janey get out of the sinkhole that she's in, or that hole that she's in, which she seems to be living comfortably in that building, but whatever. Then she takes the role of Scooter. She runs the Moon Zoomies, which I've actually heard people just straight up call her Moon Scooter, and that's not exactly inaccurate. She runs the Moon Zoomies that are the Elpis equivalent to catcher rides. And on top of that, she takes the role of Tiny Tina. She's actually the only significant minor character in the entire game. That's actually weird. Borderlands 2 had a ton of significant minor characters. But then it's like they gave all those roles to Janey and put her in as much as possible. I mean, if she just served one of these roles, she wouldn't be as bad. It's like the game it's like the writers really wanted you to love her, which this is a problem with a lot of characters that start falling into Mary Sue status, is that they try to force them on you and like, oh, we want people to like them, so we're going to push them in their face as much as possible. It's like the same problem with Mako in Book 1 and Book 2 of Legend of Korra. I mean, especially Book 1, when you have him just having all these powers and just him doing all this and him leading the charge, and it's like, why? He's a side character. He shouldn't even be considered a main character. But the fact is that they wanted you to like him, so they put him in. They made him like super awesome, all these powers. And they did that with Janey. Honestly, let's be real here. The side characters in the Borderlands universe don't exactly have a lot of development. In fact, the only character that I feel that really had any development was Mad Moxie, as terms of side characters. I mean, especially in Borderlands 2, when you find out her backstory involving the Hodonks, and then, we deal with stuff with her children, with Scooter and Ellie, and it's like, well, you get more about her. I mean, honestly, if they really wanted to make Janey a more developed character, if they really wanted people to like her, they should have made her sort of like Mad Moxie. They should have introduced this character, given her a backstory, given you a reason to care about her. You care about Moxie, as apart from her just being a generally fun character. She has a backstory, She had to deal with the freaking Hodonks. I mean, but we never get that. We never get any real reason to care about Janey. All we get is a bunch of appearances from her. And when you put a character out there without giving any real substance to them, what's the point of seeing them over and over again? Honestly, Borderlands 2 understood that a lot of its characters didn't really have a whole lot to them. Like, sure, Hammerlock has a bit of a backstory, but really not a whole lot. And you only meet him a little bit, and then occasionally do some side missions. And then you have the big game hunt, where you actually get a little story that's going on. And then it's like, what's the point? Like, if I had Janey, if I was writing the pre-sequel, and I've already come up with plenty of ideas for how to fix the pre-sequel. If I was writing Janey, geez, I would have given her more backstory. I mean, really, I would have separated her a little bit and made her and toned down her, appearances, and said that if you really want to go and do more side missions from her, you can, instead of saying, okay, you have to do these 5 side missions from her, or else you can't move on. So, excuse me. And that's the real problem. She could have had a lot of better development, but she didn't. She could have had development at all. I mean, she could have... Honestly, I mean, she has a lot of really bad behavior. Honestly, she can be... Especially with the fact that her almost revenge quest against Deadlift, despite the fact that she's labeled as literally having a heart of gold, her stalking Mad Moxie and her constantly pushing herself on Athena, it really leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And it's not inherently bad to bring a character that is hypocritical, or a character that is bad or does bad behavior while still considering themselves good. But you have to develop them. And honestly, if Janey was introduced as someone who had a lot of personality issues, but over the course of the game realized, I'm sorry, I've been really bad, she would have been a much more likable character. But they automatically assumed you were going to love Janey. So why do anything to make you like her? As long as we just shove her in as much as possible, she will be likable. And it's like, if you had just... They had just... and this game really had a chance to do that. I mean, the main characters actually talk. And this is actually something I really loved about the pre-sequel. It's one of the few things I think it did right, is the fact that each of the playable Vault Hunters talks during certain points. A character will say something to them, and instead of it just being an entirely one-sided conversation like it was in Borderlands 2, you have them say something. You walk into the Up and Over bar, and then Moxie's like, "Oh, Athena, I haven't seen you since Nox." And it's like, it's directly on them, instead of saying, "Oh, Vault Hunter, Vault Hunter, Vault Hunter, Vault Hunter. We don't know your names." And with this talking back and forth, this could have allowed a lot of moments between the side characters that could have developed them. Janey herself, given that they wanted us to like her, this could have been a lot of times to have a character just call her out. Someone like Athena, or Timothy, or someone who'd actually say, "Hey, you're being really crappy." And have Janey actually realize, "Wow, I didn't realize I was doing that. I'm sorry." I mean, character development. But no, they didn't. I mean, there's so many issues to talk about the pre-sequel, and that would take hours. I mean, I've discussed this with friends ever since the game came out, all the different issues with it and how it could have been fixed. But going back, I think I talked enough about this. So to end, could Janey have had better character development? Hell yes. Hell yes. There's a great idea. Janey is cute. Janey has a nice design. Janey is a space mechanic on the moon of Pandora. We could have had more development from her. The base of her, the core concept of her character is not dead on arrival. It basically had everything going for it. Janey as a character, when you first look at her, you look at those bullet points, she has everything going for her. But bad writing really screwed her up. It didn't let her have any development from her bad behavior, and it constantly tries to portray her as good when she does bad things. And yes, everyone in Pandora and the Borderlands universe, everyone's a douchebag at some point. Everyone's a mass murderer. Everyone's killed 100 bandits. But when they're trying to portray Janey as being this pure-hearted soul, while her displaying that same behavior, comes off at least a bad taste in my mouth. So, no. Her core concept was not bad. It was fantastic. Her development was stunted by the assumption that you were automatically going to like her the second you meet her. So, I think that's all I really have to say about that. And I think this video's probably gone, it's probably gone over 10 minutes. I babble on. I wanted to keep these short, under 10 minutes, but I don't know. I'll be going to babble on with these. Well, thank you for watching. Now, I do have a couple other topics lined up, but I do want people to submit topics. So, this is going to be on YouTube, and I want you, and Tumblr, so maybe a comment below if you wanted to ask me a specific topic, or send me an ask on Tumblr. Lay the rules out, since I'm not going to assume that everyone here has seen my original post. I want to keep this to fictional things. I want to keep this to movies, television, video games, like I said before, but I want to keep this only. I don't want any real world topics. I don't want politics, religion. I don't want to talk about that. This is supposed to be a fun little discussion, somewhat analytical video of fictional topics. And I want the topics to be a little more specific, like this one. It was about specifically, could Janey have had better development, or was her core concept dead in arrival? Instead of just saying, what do you think of Janey from Borderlands? Which would have been an hour-long video, probably, or at least half an hour video. So, yes, please send me more topics. I want to keep doing this, and my plan is to record and post these videos every Saturday, or at least post them every Saturday, if I can get around to recording them sooner. So, really, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.